Perfect. All right, you guys. So we have Ethan on today, who's absolutely been crushing these new leads. I haven't worked the newest ones just yet, so I'm excited also to get the sauce on it. Definitely the GOAT, cause I saw that for sure. So, Ethan, if you want to just give a quick intro, who you are and how long you've been in the industry.
Yeah, I'm Ethan. I've been in the insurance world now for I guess just over 30 days. I'm like 35 days in total. I've had 3 years of previous experience in solar door-to-door sales, which I feel like played a really big transition into me doing this now because I've already kind of built up the confidence knowing that I can sell right. So door-to-door is definitely a really big part of why I'm hitting the ground running so fast, I feel like. I have did mostly the mortgage protection my first 3 weeks. I switched over last week and definitely very different than what the mortgage protection is, right? The conversations are a lot different. More one call closes and then nobody's showing up to appointments for the final expense. They're just super old.
Yeah.
So I would kind of say like, hey, like it's more geared for success now, right? Because you're able to get your feet wet and feel that success as that one call, right? And that can really boost you through the week, right? Instead of having appointments no show you all the time, you can
Mhm.
pretty much get into a presentation at least once or twice a day with the FEX leads, which has really kind of propelled me forward and made me want to keep dialing and keep continuing to do good, right? So that's really what I would say for that, but very different than what I've had before with the mortgage protection, just how the calls go at least.
100%. How was can you tell us some of your recent numbers? What did you submit AP wise last week, and then how many leads are the new ones that you buy?
Yeah, so last week there was like they had like a 20% off thing. There was no code on the website, but I just texted and they ended up just giving me like 20 more free leads. So I had
Nice.
220 leads total. I closed 6,403 AP. Pretty sure that's the exact
AP.
number from last week, and that was with 7 deals sold.
Wow.
So the average size I've been seeing is right around like 800 to 900 per deal.
Okay.
A lot of these people don't have a lot of income to kind of throw towards this. You'll get the one off every now and then, but they're mostly around that like 60 $70 range, and then
Yeah.
that's really like the bread and butter right there.
100%. Okay,
Mhm.
about 60, 70. Okay, perfect. How many coming from last week, how many are you looking to keep that same 220? Or are you looking to raise that up a little bit?
Yeah, I'll probably end up getting another pack this week, so I'll probably get another 100 this week and just kind of keep it going
Yeah.
because from what I've seen, the first dial through is where you really get the most answers and you get the most conversations. Those are the best ones, right?
Mhm.
The second time, the percentage of pickup rates kind of drops like by half of what the first one was.
Okay.
And then those people, there's still a couple, you know what I mean, that you can talk to, but it's not as strong as conversations as whenever you get them in that morning and you're calling through them that first morning, right? So that's why I do like it. It splits it up. It's like 50 a day. So you can
Okay.
really run through those first 50 in the morning, and then I call them again at night, and then I'll be able to get into a couple appointments in the morning, and then at least one or two more in the afternoon normally. But
All right.
I do like that it's split up 50-50 to kind of give you your 50 for the day, and then you can
Mhm.
move on to the next one after that.
I like that, kind of breaking it up into sections.
Mhm.
On your calls, are you well, first question, are you triple dialing? Are you double dialing?
So I'm double dialing, and what I've found with that because I'm using my personal phone number. I've tried to use phone burner and burner, right? But what we've seen is that sometimes they won't go through. So with those they're VoIP numbers since they're through a website, and some carriers have a blocker against VoIP numbers, especially for older people,
Uh,
to because
mhm.
they're more susceptible to being scammed, right? So
Yeah.
they'll have that set up in place. So I do my personal phone number. They see my name whenever it comes through, and I'm getting a lot of pickups and a lot of conversations that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you tried Kixie?
I have not tried that yet, no.
Okay, okay. So we're done from the personal. Yeah. I use my personal number as well. I'll dial through from my personal number and then going on the way back, if I haven't got in touch with them, I'll hit them back on Kixie, which is working out really well. So I'll give that a try too. That's good though.
Awesome.
And then in terms of your schedule, because I know you're doing a morning run and a night run, what does your typical day look like coming in for the office for these leads?
Um, Start dialing right at like 9 a.m. and then
Okay.
dial through all those up until right around 12 or 1. I'll take a little bit of a break until like 3, and then
Yep.
I'll pop right back on it at 3. A lot of like my golden hour where I get an appointment every single day. I'm always doing like a financial inventory or running through an app is 6:30. So 6:30 up until 7:30, that is the prime hour from what I've seen. Like it's every single day without fail. You get some gold. So
Yep.
that's like my bread and butter right there for that time frame at least. But obviously in the mornings, early mornings, right around 10, you can
Mhm.
get in some solid appointments too.
Okay. What do you think were maybe one or two things that you learned from, or what was different from switching over from the mortgage protection when you first started over to the new final expense leads?
Yeah, so there's there was like 4 things I had written down like in regards to that. So the first one is you just have patience, man. These people are old and they you know what I mean? Like they can just sit there and talk your ear off or take an hour to go fill out the application. But if you're
Yep.
guiding them in the right direction, it might take a lot longer, but you're still securing yourself for that sale. They're feeling like they get to know you. You're building that rapport. Like I have people calling me back now saying, "Thank you so much, by the way, for setting me up. I just had my first payment drafted. Like,
Hmm.
once again, thank you." Um, and that kind of leads me to the second one though, with the patience is follow-ups. Like I never really followed up before on like mortgage protection leads
Yep.
with these. Like there could be some random reason. I think I talked about this last week. They'll just hang up for no reason. You got to
Mhm.
stay on top of it. Stay, hey, we got disconnected. Call them back the next day. Call them back a day after that because you know that you can have a good conversation with this person. You know they
Yep.
want it and they need it. You just got to get them back on the phone, right? So that's the
100%.
biggest thing is really making sure you're recalling all of those old appointments, or the people that wanted you to give them a call back at a certain time, kind of start kind of dialing around that time, not exactly at it. And then you
Yep.
should get somebody on the phone that will give you the time of day,
I
right?
like that.
The third one, I would say it's a little bit different. I mean, the script is obviously different, but the way that you approach it. So I've been like people tell me they have coverage already. I'm like, okay, perfect. So like you were just looking to add on. Like I just assume they just want more. And then most of the time, majority of the time, they're like, yeah, I was just looking to add on a little bit more coverage. Okay. And then you can build the why and okay, well, you have 10,000 now. You plan on being buried, right? Yeah, okay. Well, funerals are about 15 to 20,000 from what we've been seeing. So we'll make sure that that's covered so your kids aren't having to come out of pocket at all. Is that kind of what you're looking for? They're like, yeah,
Yep.
that's exactly what I'm looking for. So always assume they want more unless they tell you specifically they just want to replace. Because I haven't met a single person that's like, I want to replace.
Yep.
Last thing is tonality. Like this is something me and Tanner talk about all the time is like the confused old guy in like the in the stories like do you know where the bathroom is? You know what I mean? So it's like you want to have them lean into the phone and really listen to you.
Hmm.
Well, I'll kind of tell you how that goes. Like whenever I start off my script, I'm like, "Hey, this is Ethan. I was curious if you could possibly help me out here for a moment." And then you get really confident, said, "Yeah, I was just getting back with you because you're looking into the coverage, which would pay out if you die or get sick. But we had the email down as blah blah blah. Is that correct? You know what I mean?" So
Hmm.
confused, confidence confused, and then like I'm getting right into it right after that.
100%.
But yeah.
If you guys pick up on that for sure, like the tonality is the main piece. I mean, Costco did the same thing. Like I remember when I first started, Jonah was like, "Bro, you even got to make like the facial expressions with it because that comes out on your tonality. Same way you can tell
Mhm.
that you're smiling on the phone, even though you're on the phone with the client. So paying attention to that, like the sale is made in the first 15 to 20 seconds. So I'm sure that's how you're able to get into that one call close.
Mhm.
Our majority of the so say for last week out of the 7 deals were a majority of those one call closes.
I think 5 of them were. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You can set appointments. Like sometimes you'll have to. Sometimes they will show up and then it's like cool, but don't count on it with these leads, right? Because
Hmm.
they're always busy and they're always doing something, even though they're not, right? They
Yeah.
just think they're busy. So
Hmm.
I always just go for the one call, always.
Solid. Okay. I know we touched on it. Let's go into your intro and setting the table. Do you have a set script for these that you finalized just yet?
Do. Yeah, I do.
Solid. I know everyone's gonna ask for that. I'll come back to the script in just a second. Let's
Okay.
yeah, let's run through the first parts.
Sweet. You want to role play?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, awesome. Ring ring.
Hello?
Yeah. Hey, good morning, Malik. This is Ethan. I was curious if you could possibly help me out here for a moment. I was just getting back with you about the coverage that you were looking into that would pay out if you die or get sick, but we had the email down as maliklove at gmail.com. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, that's the best
Okay.
email for me. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. That's what I thought. Okay. Now, Malik, I'm just the manager assigned to go over that coverage with you as well as show you what would be affordable. Is this the best number to text you over some information on?
Yeah, yeah, that's my direct line here.
Okay. And then I immediately send over my credentials. So like my state license and the carrier sheet. And I said, okay, now I just sent over my credentials. I am licensed here in the state to get you approved for coverage today. I work with all the carriers who do offer this insurance. So, what that would mean for you, Malik, is I can do all the looking and shopping around just to make sure we find the best program, obviously at the best price for you. And then
Okay.
I'll go straight into the why.
Okay.
Straight into the questions. Okay, now Malik, what questions do you already or what coverage do you already have set up?
Okay, so you're going, okay. I do have just a small policy. It's about $5,000. I'm looking to get buried. That's all I currently have right now, just that 5,000 policy.
Gotcha, gotcha. And
Mhm.
and how long ago did you get that one set up?
This was about two years ago. So I'm 72 now. So yeah, that was about when I was 70.
Okay, gotcha. And,
Mhm.
and do you know how much like the average funeral is costing nowadays in your area?
Mm, that's a great question. I do not know.
Okay. What we're seeing here on our end through the data is right around 10 to 20, with 15 to 20 being really the average,
Huh?
right? I know that you have something in place, but I ask you this, are you looking to cover the whole cost of the funeral or you just want to supplement some more of it?
I mean, if possible, I would like to cover the whole thing. I mean, I wouldn't want to burden anyone else if something happened to me there.
Gotcha. And
Mhm.
then if you aren't able to do that, Malik, and you can't get coverage, who is that's going to be left with the burden of paying the rest of that out of pocket when you pass?
This is fire, by the way. That would be my son. Yeah,
Your
my
son.
son. Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. What would that look like for your son? Like, would he be able to afford that?
Um, I mean, he is working now, but that's not something I would want to put on him. He does have kids as well.
Yeah. $10,000 overnight, you know what I mean, is hard on anybody.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this, Malik. My job today is really going to be able to help and get you approved for coverage so that your son is protected the way you're wanting to make sure of, right? And what's your son's name, by the way?
His name is Pharaoh.
Pharaoh. Okay, yeah, we'll
Mhm.
make sure Pharaoh is protected. What I'll do is go over a few questions with you. ask some questions related to the budget. I want to make sure that we're getting you enough coverage. I don't want to over insure you, right, and have you paying for more than what you need. Then we'll go over some medical questions, see which carriers would be the best fit and what you'd probably qualify for, and then we can go into some options that would fit within your budget. Okay. And
Okay.
then I'm pre-closing. And then that's like the I wish everybody could get approved. If you know what I mean, if we find an option that makes sense for you, fits within the budget and protects Sparrow the way you're wanting to, what we're
Mhm.
going to do is submit a request today to see if we can get medically approved. Okay. And then that's it. And then you're in the FI and then you're in the app.
Bro, that's quick. I like that a lot. Your tonality was so like you can hear really like studying tonality, like you can hear like the compassion in your voice. You repeated a couple things that I said about my son,
Mm.
and then getting into the why and what you have in place currently to see what their exact goals were. Like it's pretty straightforward. Like I see why you're able to one call close because I mean in my eyes it's a pretty straight line getting to that close. If you set it up in this way in this manner, like you shouldn't really have any objections moving forward.
Yeah, no, I really
Um,
don't.
what if say if you do, get objections, what are like some common objections you're getting with this lead?
Too expensive. That's
Okay.
really the main one. And then, you know what I mean? I can overcome that. Be like, yeah, yeah. I mean, last time you looked into it, like, what were they kind of showing you? And then they'll tell me a number. I'd be like, oh, wow.
Hmm.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, no, well, cool thing is here, Malik, I am a broker. So as I
Hmm.
said, I work with all of the carriers. So what I'm going to have them do for you is compete to give you the best rate and make sure that we can get you the best coverage. And then I just keep moving on.
Okay. So too expensive, that'd be one. How are you running into like a lot of I'm blanking on what the term is for the like the card, the direct is it direct express card or the like not dropping from the bank account, they have like the
Oh,
prepaid.
like a credit card?
Is that what it's called? It's like a credit card that for like retired benefits. I'm blanking on
We're talking about Chime.
not Chime. Only a couple. I guess a couple of our carriers accepted. It's like a preloaded card almost. Have you run? Oh, Direct Express. Is that yeah? Direct Express. Have you run into
No,
that at all in the chat?
I
Okay.
haven't ran into that at all, no.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, Direct Express.
Sometimes you will struggle to like they can't get in their bank account or they don't have like a check or statement. So what I do is be like, okay, no worries. What we'll do, I'm telling them what we will do is go ahead and get you set up with the credit card and then just to make sure the policy doesn't, lapse in the future and you can make sure that you do have this coverage for the rest of your life. We'll change it over to the direct deposit method whenever we call them next week if you are approved. So I'll
Gotcha. I
just be
see.
like, but then I always add the if you are approved just to keep them on the line. Like we don't even know if you're approved yet. Like we have to submit this approval still. But if we
Hmm.
do get you approved, we'll set it up originally for the credit card, but then switch it over when we call them.
I
And
see.
then always do that. Yeah.
Are you okay?
Always.
So that's really good. Are you before you get into the financial inventory or maybe in the financial inventory? Is there a question that you're asking that I kind of like pinpoint if they have a bank account or not, or are most of them pretty solid with that? They just might have trouble finding it.
Yeah, no, I haven't ran into anybody like that.
Okay.
They like I've had this one dude, he had like a PayPal card or something like that, but it's through an actual bank, so I can just
Okay.
put the actual bank's routing and account number in and it works fine. But
Okay.
mostly just not being able to find it or not being able to get into the um account.
Right. I
Yeah.
see what you're saying. For if they are using a card, what carriers are you using for that?
Dude, a lot of these people have bad health issues. I just got set up with Sika, so hopefully it'll change, but I've written a lot of Corebridge.
Yeah.
And then Corebridge does accept cards, so I haven't had any issues with that.
On they accept card for both SIWO and GIWO or just GIWO? Yeah, Joe.
I know for sure. So the ones that I've had to deal with that have been the GIWLs, but I
Okay.
think they should also for SI.
Okay. I'll take a look at that too. That's good to know. Sorry guys, I haven't checked the chat. Oh yeah, Direct Express, perfect. Yeah, if you guys want to throw your questions in the chat, and I'll get to them in just a second here. Um, okay, so I put that down. So a lot of so what carriers are using pretty much the most for these leads? Do you have like a set like three?
Forbridge, SBLI, and then if they're like super healthy, I'll go like AHL, American Home Life, just because it's such an easy application, right? It's a 6-digit
Yeah,
code.
yeah. That's what I was gonna ask for sure. Like I know it's tough on some people, maybe technology wise, like to get into the email and just like,
That's why
uh,
patience is like the first thing I wrote down because I've sat on a call for an hour just waiting for her to figure out how to open the email. Right. I
yep,
ended up getting it done and it was like a 2 hour, 15-minute call, but it was
yep.
like, gosh, like if it was AHL, it'd been so easy, but a lot of health
100%.
problems, a lot of heart problems with most of the people I've talked to, surgeries, smoking, diabetes, like a lot of things stacked on top of each other. So whenever they're stacked like that, it's really hard to find somebody that will take them for a good rate, besides
Gotcha.
coverage.
With Sika, I think Sika has the voice authentication too. That maybe if they're struggling, maybe that would be a good option too. So
Mhm.
put that down. Sika.
I
Okay.
just haven't personally used Sika yet. I just got set up with them.
Okay. Okay. That's clutch. Um, let me see. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. That was fire, bro. I see why you're able to get in there so smoothly. If possible, can you go over one more time your why questions as soon as you send over the credentials, you let them know you're a broker,
Yeah,
and
so
then
I'll immediately ask, I'll say, okay, now, Malik, what kind of coverage do you already have set up in place?
right. So you already have set up in place. Okay.
And then they tell me, and then I said, okay, and how much is that for?
Oh, okay.
And then if they say no, it's always how long have you been looking into getting this set up? Like I assume all of my why questions, I kind of assume, right? So
Right.
if they say that they already have something, I'd be like, okay, gotcha. So you were really just looking to add on a little bit more and see what that would look like for it. And they're most of the time they're like,
Mhm.
yeah, I just like a little bit more coverage. Um, If not, I'd be like, okay, well, what stopped you in the past from getting the coverage before?
I see.
Was it too expensive or did you not qualify? So this already gives me an idea of is this person worth my time? Because if they're like, I have $10 in my bank account right now, I'm just gonna be like, okay, I don't think I can help you if you have $10 left over each month, and then I'm on to the next.
Yep.
Tell me they have really bad health problems. I'll ask a couple of them right off the bat, just so I
Hmm.
can kind of get an idea of who I might start thinking of before I even get into the FI. So like they tell me they had a heart
Gotcha.
attack 2 months ago, and be like, okay, Corbridge, GIWL. It's the only thing
Mhm.
we can do.
Gotcha. I'm sure like I like this question set a lot. I'm sure with this type of service, maybe something has maybe just happened recently in the family. I'm
Hmm.
sure you probably get like some stories of something maybe
Yes.
just happening. Yeah. Okay.
And then I'll throw that in there. Like these are just like the basic ones, and I can normally get into deeper why questions, but I'll be like, yeah, okay, now, like how long have you been looking into this coverage and what kind of prompted that? And they'll be like, oh, well, my husband just died, or oh, my mom died and she didn't have anything and it was really hard on me. It's like they'll go into their whole life stories, right? So they're
Hmm.
building the why for you by asking one question. They're going on a
Fire.
5-minute why they need this so bad. So I
Yep.
just let them sell themselves, honestly. I give
I
them the
like that.
information, I let them sell themselves.
Spider, bro. You had a couple questions in here. Let's see. Um, oh, Tanner. Yeah. Oh, do you try to get them to remember filling out the form, or do you typically not make it about that and move past on the assumption?
Um, like you want to have like the authority and being like, well, I'm supposed to call you. You fill out the form, and I've
Mhm.
even struggled with that myself sometimes. But just be like, yeah, you were looking into it. You don't have to say, yeah, you filled a form out online or you were looking into it online. Be like, yeah, like you were looking into this. That's why I'm getting back to you. And be like, I wasn't looking into this. Be like, yep, no worries. I don't even remember what I had for breakfast yesterday, and then I just keep going. Like just
Like
ignore
that.
the first one. If they're really like, no, I definitely wouldn't look into this. I already have, they're probably not going to buy anyways.
Hmm.
Right. So it's kind of just weeding out like the people who are obviously going to give you objections for no reasons and will never buy versus the people who are be like, okay, yeah, I mean, like even if I wasn't looking into that, it does kind of sound like a good idea, right?
Yeah.
So you'll be able to weed it out with that way.
100%. Yeah, making it to piggyback on that, making it like if you go into like did you submit the form or not, like it'll make it such a head to head rather than just like
Mhm.
acknowledging it, asking a question, gaining back control and getting right into the financial inventory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Um Common objection, yeah, too expensive. I just got this taken care of last week. I didn't fill it. Oh, I didn't fill out any requests. And the classic one, I'm good. Yeah, so too expensive. I just got this taken care of last week. I didn't fill out any requests. Yeah, those are some pretty common ones for that. Okay.
For too expensive, it's like it's super valid. Like sometimes with these people, like with the older
Mhm.
people, like it is super valid. So like you can't take that one as just an objection. Like
Gotcha.
sometimes, I mean, well, you can, but sometimes it is blowing smoke because they're like, yeah, well, somebody quoted me $260 and I can't afford that. And then it's like, just ask how much they were shown. They'll tell you, be like, okay, well, good thing is I'm not going to show you anything near that, right? I'm a broker, so I can work to find you the best rates for the best policy, and then just move on. Um, Taken care of last week, it's a hard one because they already went through the whole process and they know
Mhm.
that it's going to be like at least an hour, and it's like hard to get them back on. But that's where I really just build the value and like, okay, yeah, well, I mean, um, who did you go with? Blah, 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 blah. And then I'll kind of be like, oh, okay. Why'd they get you set up with them? Like, are you like super, super sick? And
Mhm.
they'll be like, no, I'm not sick. I'm like, okay, well, I mean, that's normally who we would use if you're like super sick. And I kind of that one's really hard though. Like that's very small percentage you'll get past that like easily.
Yeah, I saw it. Oh my bad, Tate. Are the strong point leads coming from a particular social media app to
That's a
where
good
we can say, yeah, looks like you filled this out on Facebook? Um, I would say no. Um, I think they market on multiple platforms. So it's kind of what do you think about that?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I think they market on multiple. So and again, I don't think you want to make it about like if they submitted it or where they came from. Like just acknowledge it, ask a question, and gain back control. Get right into the
Just that
presentation.
they looked into it at some point. Be like, yeah, looks
Hmm.
like you were looking into that coverage at some point, which would pay out if you died or got sick. But don't be like, yeah, you filled this out last night and that's why I'm calling you this morning. You know what I mean? Like it's like you're setting yourself up for failure with that. Just acknowledge it the least way possible just to continue moving on.
Hmm. Is this tenant looking into is tough to argue with. 100%.
Yeah,
100%. Filled out the form, not every time.
100%. Yeah.
Well, this was fire. If you guys have any last questions that they're on here, I'm for sure going to be watching this back with all of my agents. It's crazy that in your first, couple weeks that you're making this traction, because you're already a top producer and you're just getting into the lead. So I can't imagine where this is going to go from here. So thank you so much for hopping on and giving us. Oh yeah, that's what I forgot.
Yeah.
Tanner, yeah, do you have a copy of the script?
I do. Who should I send that to or how should I upload that?
Let me
I could
see.
just make a copy of this actually.
Mike, are you on here?
Yeah, the what easiest thing that I usually do, Ethan, throw your phone number in there if you don't mind,
Okay.
and then have people just text you over their email, and then we can just drop it in and send it. Is generally the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, y'all can text me and I'll send it over to you.
Okay, perfect. Let me take your number down. Perfect. All right, you guys. Well, yeah, if you guys need the script, this was a great training. I'll be watching this back a couple times. Ethan, we might have you back on pretty soon here, especially with your numbers, bro. So keep doing your thing, and thank you for taking the time for us.
Will do. Thank you for having me, guys. This was fun.
Yes, sir. All right, you guys. We'll see you next Tuesday.